Hello again. Before I begin the video, I'd like to say that I've started a group on Facebook for the channel, Scotsman762, just the exact same name as here on YouTube. If you're interested, go over there, give the group a follow. So far there's no followers, but this is just going to be a group for sharing your EDC. I'm curious to see what knives, what multi-tools, what lighters, what torches you're carrying, and I would also love to see your collection. That sort of thing, as well as things like crossbows and airsoft and that sort of thing. That's also very much welcome. Political discussion, of course, like we do have here on the channel, but of course it's mainly going to be a knife and EDC group, so everyone is welcome regardless of where you're from. It's not just a UK group, so you know, if you like watching the channel, why not pop on and follow the group? That's all I've got to say for that matter. Let's have a look at the axe. This is a Hultafors axe. Now this one I've had for about 5 years or so. I bought this from Heine Haynes. At the time I think I paid about £35 for it. Now I've used this thing for a variety of tasks. I've taken it to college as part of a forestry course. I've used it to split wood there. Coppicing as well I think I used it for. Lemon trees. Taken it camping twice and I will in the future. And I've used it at home to split wood so I could burn it in the barbecue, and I've also hewed a piece of wood a couple of times with it. I hewed a piece of lime, this kind of wood here. This is a hardwood. This is actually the bit here. I essentially just split the wood in half and then chopped away at it to try and flatten the surface before flattening it with a bench plane to safely put it on a bandsaw or a table saw. I put that piece on my table saw. So I have had quite a bit of use out of this axe. So let's have a look at some of the specifications on the axe. So to begin with, the shaft is hickory. In fact, let's have a look at the direction of the grain. Really what you want, as far as I'm aware, is you want the grain direction to be straight with the bit. You want it to be in line with the cutting edge. It's okay if it's over by a little bit, but to the best of my knowledge, the straighter the better. Usually you want either hickory. I think hickory is the #1 material for an axe. Second to that would be ash, which is quite a hard wood. In fact, speaking of ash here, this is ash wood here. This is just some dovetails I've been practicing for anyone that's interested. But you want either hickory or ash. So this is presumably American hickory. Well shaped handle. It's fairly comfortable to use. I mean, it's nice to use, you know, either at the bottom of the shaft or choking right up. I've been doing a lot of that. In fact, you can whittle fairly nicely with this axe as well. Right then, specifications before I forget. What we're looking at here in terms of the shaft, the handle, 38 centimeters for the shaft, or 15 inches. Overall, we're looking at 45 centimeters or 17.5 inches, and I'm pretty sure the cutting edge, not that it really matters too much on an axe, I'm pretty sure it's around 3 inches, maybe more. Nope, sorry, it's, yeah, we're looking at about 3.5 inches. Now the factory edge, it was reasonably good if I remember correctly, although I've sharpened it several times. The process that I like to use to sharpen my axe, I'll usually get rid of any chips or any damage with a file, and then I'll take it to a set of Japanese Waterstones. I like to do it 220 to 5000, and then I hit it with a leather strop to try and get a nice polish, and that basically gets it shaving sharp. The mask or the sheath, whatever you want to call that, to be honest, it's crap. It is genuine suede, so that's nice, but it's pretty awful. I don't know how many times I've had this in my bag and this pretty much came off, which is bad for obvious reasons. The way I see the mask is not really to protect you, it's more to protect the axe, because if you spend a long time sharpening that and you drop it on something or it gets banged against, you know, a rock or another piece of metal, well, you're going to be pretty upset. In fact, I've got an example of just that. Here's an axe that happened with. This is a cheap, crappy axe, but I put a razor edge on it, as I do. Spent about an hour sharpening this thing from file to stop. Went to use it, split a few pieces of wood. I was holding one of the pieces of wood like this. I missed a piece of wood, put the axe into my thumb. Yeah, thankfully I didn't get cut too deeply. But I dropped the axe afterwards, and well, look there, you can see that chip. So Scotsman's not very happy. Well, that was about a month or so ago. This axe here though, very nice overall, especially for the price. I would imagine that is forged steel by hand. I very much doubt it. By the way, these are made in Sweden. I'll just give you a little look here at the eye. We can see there's two wedges in the shaft. We've got one traditional wooden wedge and we've got a steel round wedge. The shape of the bit is quite nice. This is quite nice for splitting. To be honest, this is just an all-round axe for camping, bushcraft, work, whatever you like really. I've used it for all of the above essentially, and it's worked just fine. It's reasonably good for splitting. It's long enough where you can get two hands on it, but it's short enough that you can use one if you wish. I quite like to choke up on my axes, depending on what I'm doing. And I'll just show you here just quickly. Do I have a piece of wood to hand? Probably not. Just use this little piece of line here. So you can choke up reasonably well, although it is, for doing this, I think it's a bit heavy. So if you really want, you could whittle with it. To be honest, when it comes to camping, this is why I think an axe is way better than a knife. I mean, you could do things with an axe that you couldn't do with a knife, and an axe can essentially do everything that a knife can do. It does say on the handle there, Hickory, and it also says not to smack a sledgehammer off the axe or to use it to pound in a wedge. I'm guessing because the steel is brittle, I'm guessing you're asking for the axe to shatter, so it says don't do that, so I'm also going to tell you not to do that. Usually when a product says not to do something, I usually like to follow that advice because it's usually for good reason. You do you, I suppose. If you want to go and destroy your axe, that's fine. We've got Hultafors, essentially. I think it's I think that's laser engraved. I doubt you can even see that. I could barely even see that. As well as some other markings made in Sweden, 08. As well as, what does that say? 3/4, I think. I'm guessing that's the weight. I'm guessing that's 3/4 of a kilo, but I don't know. We've also got HB here. I'm guessing HB is Hultafors. I know this is a Hultafors. I'm just going to assume by that Hultafors actually makes the axes for Hultafors. So overall, it's quite a comfortable axe to hold. It's light enough where you could put it in a bag. It doesn't take up too much space. It's not too heavy, but it's heavy enough and it's big enough and it's strong enough to get a decent amount of tasks done. I suppose you probably could fell a tree with it if you really wanted to. In all fairness though, if you're going to fell a tree, you're much better with a saw. It's so much more efficient, so much easier, and a saw weighs a lot less. But in fairness, if you're only going to take one tool, I'd probably take an axe as well. That's just my thoughts. Value for money, excellent. And especially if you want a good axe, if you can't afford a Hultafors Brooks, fair enough, those axes are expensive. I mean, you're talking about 100 quid even for a little one. 35 quid for this, not bad. Some of the other Hultafors axes are around the same price as Hultafors Brooks, but this is definitely a good option. I do have two Hultafors Brooks axes, and to be honest, I'm scared to use them because of the price. I've got the small forest axe and the small hand hatchet. Maybe one day I'll decide to bring them out to the shed and use them as they're intended to, but to be honest, £100 an axe, I mean, that's a lot of money, to be really honest. Anyway, that's just my thoughts. Thanks for watching. See you later.